Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm excited for today's video. I got a mystery box of tools that my dad sent me up, and I truly have no idea what's in here. He has sent me a lot of great tools over the years, so I'm not sure how many he's got left. So I'm really excited you'll be able to join me for this mystery box. So I figured the way I'll do this video is I'll do it kind of in layers. I'll show you like a quick glance of what I got, and then I'll clean some of it up and come back with like kind of a final follow-up. So first thing I'll share with you is just this nut driver set. It is metric. It's made in Taiwan, and it's kind of cool that it's new old stock. So that was in there. Got a bunch of sockets in here, so I'll have to lay them out and see what they are. Hopefully got some SK in there, but who knows. I got this ratchet, USA made Craftsman, completely bound up. Oh no, there it is, it's free. Oh, it's bound up. A nice vintage Craftsman breaker bar. This is a 1/2 inch, and it's gonna need some work for sure, but it's just surface rust or just rust. It seems to work fine. The detent's fine, and everything seems to work on it well. Here is a Craftsman speed handle, and this one's different. And I have a couple speed handles, as that was the tool of the trade for me, and I could use one of these like nobody's business. You know, I could just like it's nothing. That's all I did all day long, taking off transmission pans and growing up doing services as a kid. But look at that bend in it. So this we'll have to put on the Dake, and this might be one of our first projects on the Dake. It's a Circle H. So this is a pretty old Craftsman speed handle. This goes back to the New Britain days, probably the 50s. I got a bunch of wrenches in here. Some of them good, some of them not so desirable, but I really like these Williams super wrenches. So I'll have to see if I got a complete set of them. I know I don't have a complete set here, but I probably have enough in my spares to make a complete set. And what I always liked about the super wrenches is they were like the first wrench to really be longer. They were always a little bit longer than a standard size wrench. And then as I was looking, there's some beauties in here. So I'll open these up and lay these out in a minute once I show you through the other stuff. But these are Williams double box end metric. I don't think I've ever seen that before. That looks like it might be a complete set. And this is so far my favorite item in the complete toolbox here, or in the pile. And then here I thought it says Craftsman. No, it doesn't say Craftsman. It says Stanley Workmaster 3H drive. So I thought for sure this would be a little socket set made in the USA, but it's not. It's a deep socket set, and it looks to be incomplete. It has some of the sockets. Once again, I'm going to take a look, and I'll let you know I probably can complete this set by the end of the video. We'll see if that comes to fruition as well. And then this I thought was kind of neat, actually. It's a little husky handle. You just press the button and it'll bend. Well, maybe it will. Yeah, it's a screwdriver. And you could just stick any sort of adapter in it. And it's a screwdriver. Is it ratcheting? I don't know. Might be, oh, I had it jammed up maybe. We'll have to play with that, see what the deal is with that. Little wrench holder. Look at these wrenches. These, I never had really a lot of these. I know SK made these and some other companies. They're kind of long. They got the open end on one end and kind of like the socket on the other. And who makes these? It looks like it said Japan. I'll have to take a look. Mastercraft. So when I first saw them, I'm like, ooh, that might be SK. And look at this. I thought this was kind of neat. This is a little tape measure, but metric. Definitely kind of neat, nice little collectible item. All right, so let me clean some stuff up and show you what I got. And as you can see there, she definitely has a pretty good bend to her towards the top. See how it just curves to the right there? Let's see what we can do on the Dake. The world has enough guys, be a man. nothing more manly than using the Dake. A wise man once said, once you get it straight, just go a little bit past and then bring it back. And I just kind of kept working it, as you can see there. And look, I got it nice and straight. But then when I looked at it like you would look down the barrel of a gun, it was straight, but it was bent at the elbow. So I had to bring it back to the Dake. And this position right here seemed to do the trick. And then 357 Magdad told me how much he loves his conditioning belt, which is like one of those Scotch-Brite type pads. And my model is a 42 inch, so that thing cost me about 15 bucks, and I'll show you the results I get with it here in a little bit. Now off to the wire wheel. So I put that belt on my old Rockwell and boom, popped right off. So I had to bring it over to my most recent purchase, my heavy duty Dayton, and it seemed to work just fine. And the conditioning belt was working well. It actually was removing quite a bit of material, but just couldn't get those deep divots. That's why I brought it over to a 120 grit belt here. And as you can see the way I'm working it here, it is just a difficult type of tool to work on a belt with all the bends and curves. It was hard to get in a lot of those spots, so it took a lot longer, and just, you know, couldn't get that great finish that you could if it was a flat tool. And then just blending it in here on the fiber wheel. Now let's see if we could get this ratchet back into service. I really love those Channel Locks snap ring pliers. I found this set on eBay that's essentially the same pair. It's a Lang, just Channel Locks rebranded it, and there's new old stock for 20 bucks. Figured I'd share it with you. Just cleaning it up with some WD-40, getting some oil into those detents. I actually use the oil to clean it as well, and then just flushing out that quick release for the socket with some oil. And then these coarse teeth ratchets work great with just something like a synthetic super lube. The fine tooth ones you got to worry about when you put a little bit of oil. Use something a little lighter. Then to my high-tech parts washer, as you can see here. And I really do like WD-40 to clean, and I soaked everything. And while I had those wrenches soaking, which are probably my favorite item in this box, I went to the wire wheel with that breaker bar. And it's great to have multiple bench grinders. Here I got my Delta set up with those soft wheels, and that was really helpful to get into those grooves on the breaker bar. And then I just find out the flaking a little bit of the chrome with that conditioning belt. And after a good soak, they cleaned up like a dream, those Williams Super Wrenches, and I'm excited to show you those. And here are those open-end socket wrenches, and I figured, hey, let me clean them up. I'll use them, and if they work well, I could always get them in a better brand if I find them useful. And then finally, the last thing you'll see here is I'm just soaking all of the stuff that's going to go back in the socket set, or even ones that I just plan on storing. I want them to be prevented from rust. All right, first thing I want to show you is that speed handle. She came out pretty darn good. Nice and straight, This, like I showed you, was that Circle H. You could see the finish on it that conditioning belt left. A little bit of pitting here and there. I just couldn't get down below. Especially when you look over here at the handle, there was some really deep nicks on this side, and there's just no way I could go that deep. But it is a totally super functioning, serviceable speed handle. And one more show, one-handed. And I'll just show you real quick. This is my original speed handle that I got in the mid 80s, and this is probably the first tool that I ever got new. Most of my tools were handy downs or given to me from my dad or other guys in the shop, or as we came across stuff. But this I got new for Christmas, and it is a beauty, and it has been used. It is definitely the most used tool that I own, for sure, at least for 10 years straight or so. And then you can see it does a little bit of a slighter design and bend in the handle, so really glad to have another one. All right, look how nice these sockets came out. Is that beautiful or what? Stanley Workmaster 9-piece 3H drive. And look at this, was able to find almost all of the sockets to complete the set. About half of them were in here. I had most of them, and they were the Stanley design that I had. Even if you look, I had to replace the 3/4 inch, and it's a Craftsman, but these were made by Stanley. And the only one that is not is this one here, the SK. So I need a 7/16 Stanley Workmaster. I'm sure I'll come across it. And just wanted to share something that Raw Bacon, who you've probably seen comment in the sections a lot, said a while back. He said, I believe it was on Scoutcrafter's channel in the comment section, he said, you know, when you have just a bunch of sockets like that, it's just a pile of sockets and really doesn't mean much, just a bunch of miscellaneous sockets. But when you have them in a case, then all of a sudden it becomes a set, and it's way more desirable. And that's why I love collecting them. It's easy to find sockets, but when you can find stuff in a nice original case like this, it's all the better. Armoralled the daylights out of it, as you can tell. Really armoralled the hinges a lot to try to protect them. And before I put this away, I'll actually, leave a nice coating on that. So read the back here. Made in the USA, Stanley Works, Connecticut. It has a year on it, which I think is so cool, right under my thumb. But I want you guys to guess, what year do you think this is from? And I'll let you know at the end of the video. I was actually kind of surprised by the year. All right, I'm going to show you these wrenches, but just as I was moving these out of the way, I was going to ask you guys if you remember back in the 80s and 90s, there used to be like these traveling tool salesmen, and I think this is probably where this came from. Before the days of online and even Harbor Freights being everywhere, there used to be guys that came around to the shop. They had a trunk full of tools. I remember getting a set of ball peen hammers that was actually halfway decent, and they had these really cheaper tools. So if you remember that, if you're a little older, you probably remember that for sure. All right, now let's take a look at these wrenches. The first was the Williams Super Wrenches. The Craftsman I just put here to show you why I like the Super Wrenches. Just look at the difference in the length, and Williams is one of the first companies to do that wasn't a tool truck brand, so I think that's super neat. I do not have enough though. I thought I was going to be able to make a set of these, but a lot of the ones I have are the same size. I have a couple of the larger ones here that I pulled out, but eventually I would like to make a complete set of these. I must have sold some of them over the years because I thought I had a lot more of them, unless they're in a different spot, which very well could be the case. But let me show you my favorite items of it all. So the reason these are my favorite, number one, they're Williams, which is awesome, but I just don't have a metric double box end wrench of this design. I have tons of standard ones, right? I have tons of Craftsman SAEs of that same type of design and angle and SK and Electrolyte and all of them. When it comes to metric, the only ones I have are the Craftsman USA, and these are really desirable. You can't get these anymore, but they just don't have the offset like these do. And so let me show you these. This is so cool. They're not from, it must have been not a complete set where somebody must have pieced these together over the years, because they have different types of stamping on them when you read the Williams and whatnot. But you can see that they all say BWM. And this one is an 8 and a 10, which is so cool because it got the 10 mil. This one here is a 13 and a 12, and that's what's interesting too. This one says Vulcan on it, so they must have been owned by them at some point, or vice versa, as tool companies merged over the years. I just don't know a ton about Williams. I know they do a lot. They're owned by Snap-on, and some of their stuff is very similar to Snap-on nowadays. You see, like in this one here is a 13 mil, and it shows you the 13 millimeter here. But when you flip it over, that's when you see the other size, 14 mil. So it doesn't even show you on each side. So that's a little different design than the other one. And this one is a 16, and it looks like a 16 on that side, and what is that? An 18, 16 and 18, and then a 17 and 19. So look at how big that one is. Is that cool or what, the way that's branded on there? So if you guys know about Williams, if you kind of know about these style wrenches, please let me know in the comment section below as well, maybe the years and so forth. So I really need to get this stuff put away. I kind of got distracted halfway through making this video and cleaning these tools up as I came across this Workbench Craftsman. I've been looking for something like this that'll have the pegboard and the light on top that I can put my lathe on, and I'm kind of redoing my shop, so stay tuned for that. Hit the subscribe. I'll give you a little bit of a tour of the updates that I'm doing to the back shop here, probably in the next video or the one after that. So let's wrap this video up. One last look at my mystery boxer tools. Everything pretty much cleaned up, ready to go, back in service. Some in better service than others, just from the level of cleaning and restoration I did to it. I'm sure my dad will be really shocked to see how well everything cleaned up. So here is the year. Hopefully you are close. If you are, let me know in the comment section. But 1981. I would have never thought that. I truly thought that this would have been from the 90s. So almost, you know, as late as the 70s, or as early as the 70s, I should say. So like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.